in my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try to catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom, boom. Major look, huh? Yeah, this one is for the books. All these chances I took still. I move straight on these rooks now. Hold me up or hold me down. Have my back or hold my crown. Either you with me or not, but you better give all you got, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see.
That's terrible. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we're going to try this whole intro one more time, because apparently Streamlabs likes to, Alright, try this again. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to TalkCast. My name is XDelicious Games. We're here with our host, BtheKing, and our very honored guest of BarginBinGaming. Happy Sunday to you all. Apologize about the audio issues. Apparently, Streamlabs does not like working on Sunday. And you know what? Sometimes neither do we, but that's okay, because we just brush it off, keep on going, just break those chains, just like the intro says. So, for some of you that don't know who our hosts or our guests are, I'm going to hand it over to them to do a quick intro before we get started today. So, BtheKing, if you'd like to start, kind of introduce yourself.
Playing like a simple adventure game or fighting game. Roll with a team of maybe about 10 people or so. And just glad to be here doing something like this. Is something I've always wanted to do. And I'm honored that X is here and that Bargain is here with us also. And I'll pass it over to our special guest.
I appreciate that. Let me know, by the way, if my mic's loud enough or not, because I was on someone's show last night, and cool, thank you. So yeah, I'm BarginBinGaming, a full-time variety streamer, typically streaming more older games, such as Fallout New Vegas, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, South Park Stick of Truth. For some reason, we streamed that recently as well. I do podcasts every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central, though we will be going at the start of August into a little hiatus to go into a season-by-season format. And yeah, I stream Tuesday through Friday, 8 p.m. Central to at least 11 p.m. Central, and like I said, podcast Saturday at 7 p.m. Central.
Very nice. So on your podcast, do you have a bunch of different streamers, or kind of people that like develop some of the games, or when you're doing what do you like to do during your podcast?
So I have different guests every single week. I usually book at least a month out of the way, and it's usually just different streamers. I would love to try to interview some of these game developers. That would be a dream. Actually, I think more than anything, I would love to interview voice actors. That's my big dream if I can make anything out of this. But yeah, I have a co-host, B Field. He's kind of my color commentator, I guess you could say. He makes all the disgusting jokes, and I'm there to keep him in line. Yeah, so we usually have about 4 to 6 guests a week, and we just talk gaming news, movie news, and pretty much whatever the fuck I think is interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's always I'm sure like a huge array that you guys cover. So it's pretty awesome to see, kind of like because I could already tell like kind of like your passion into like, what it is that you're talking about, or even just like the games that you just listed off about playing. So that's really cool to see, because that's what I think it's what brings people in, right? Because if you're passionate about it and they see your energy for it, then they're like, hey, I'm here for this energy. Let's bring it. So
I think it's one of those things where I used to, when I first started, I streamed the, War Zones, Fortnites, and I didn't know what to talk about. Because, I mean, it's essentially the same game every single game. Yeah, you land in different places, but it's the same map, albeit it changes every few months. But still, with single-player games, particularly if you're very knowledgeable about the lore, such as, like, Elder Scrolls, Dragon Age, whatever have you, there's a lot of stuff you can dig into, and people come in, they want to talk about that lore. If you're knowledgeable, they'll respect that kind of thing,
yeah, that makes sense. And plus, it's kind of cool too to sometimes see like some people that might have more in-depth knowledge about some of the lore too, that like us as viewers wouldn't have known too. So it's definitely interesting to see too, like for example, like World of Warcraft, right? Like Sylvanas' character is getting a huge kind of introduction into her actual lore of like everything that's happening. So it's really cool to actually see like the game going towards it, and kind of the significance of it. And so, someone in chat being able to explain that to someone that doesn't know, or you as the person that's talking about it, like I think that brings great depth into the games too, because that's what gets people excited and like, oh dude, like her arc is like that, let me go check it out, and then they get involved in the games more too. So I think that's where like the gaming community definitely comes into like a huge play, to be able to bring light to that. So I know I've been kind of chatting a lot, so BtheKing, I'll let you get jumping right in, man. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, man. We're here to chat. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know that you are a new dad. That is crucial. So that definitely affects how streaming
Thank
goes.
you, I appreciate that. I really never get to talk about my personal life because I'm somewhat of a private person, but there's obviously some things that I just don't get asked. So thank you. I appreciate the congrats in chat. Yeah, so we got married about a month ago. My wife's watching, so hopefully we're about right there.
Yeah, don't get in trouble.
We got married at the courthouse. We plan on doing a whole ceremony next year at some point when all the pandemic shit's over with. And our baby is 2 months old now, I believe. Genevieve, call her Gigi for shorts.
Beautiful.
I have a bachelor's in history that I still haven't used. Recently graduated a couple of years ago, and I thought about, if streaming didn't pan out, to go into Freezy Pop just said, yeah, that's my wife. I thought about going like park ranger type stuff, working for national parks and everything, because government benefits are nice. Obviously, Twitch doesn't have any kind of benefits currently, but I'm kind of hoping in regards to that Facebook gaming will pull something like that out of their asses, kind of like the what is it? I think the next 2 years they're gonna let their partners keep, I believe, 100% of their earnings, and then after that, I think it'll be a 70-30 split. And of course, Twitch is still on that 50-50 split as well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that Facebook and YouTube keep trying to push the limits and push Twitch to actually do something. Of course, Twitch hasn't budged on the split yet, but beyond that, though, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I have 2 Star Wars tattoos on my legs. I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd.
Oh man.
The only thing I'm really, and people always give me shit for it, the only thing I'm really not that knowledgeable on is anime, but we do have HBO Max now, which has Crunchyroll on it, so I'm definitely going to start trying to get into that, so when people ask me, I don't feel ashamed. That's about it. Yeah, I'd say so.
There's nothing to be
Awesome,
ashamed. There's so many animes out there, so it's kind of hard to sometimes keep up.
I've only ever watched
Thousands.
2 animes. One of them was, well, I guess more than one technically, but one series and one show. One was anything Dragon Ball. Growing up, I watched Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff. And I watched one, and I don't remember what it's called, even though my mods, if they're here, they've corrected me 1,000 times because I can never remember the name. It's the one where it's an orphanage. The kids are being fed to demons, essentially, and they're trying to escape.
Oh, Promised Neverland.
Yes, I watched that with my sister-in-law a couple months ago. That was the second one I ever watched. I'm like, this is pretty entertaining. It's pretty fucked up, but I could definitely probably get into it. So,
yeah, that one's a good one. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm kind of late to the anime boat. Like, of course, Dragon Ball when we were kids for obvious reasons.
Right.
Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon because you had to watch those whenever you're a kid. But yeah, I'm just now getting into the animes myself. So you are not alone on that one. Like, they're always throwing animes at me like, hey, you got to watch this. Hey, you got to watch this. One of my buddies, he's always asking me like, hey, where you at on One Piece, which is like 1 billion episodes. So
God,
there's always pressure to watch more, but
Right.
do it at your own pace. You've got a kid now, you've got a stream that you've got to take care of.
right.
So definitely take care of those. So I know you were talking about like streaming is kind of your passion. You do have the history degree. What made you decide to go into streaming after graduating from school? Because you could have went, a few different paths.
It's intriguing, actually. Well, I wouldn't say intriguing. It's kind of basic because of the events that unfolded. But with the pandemic hitting, most streamers started, especially small ones, when the pandemic hit because they didn't have anything else to do. And at the time, I think I had had my degree for like less than 6 months. So I was still looking for work to start out with. And pandemic hit, so everything shut down. And I knew that anything, museum wise, national park wise, anything like that was going to be shut down probably for a good while. So I started the streaming thing as a hobby, and it just kind of kept growing. So I talked with my now wife, and I said, would you be pissed if I tried streaming full time? And she still supports me. I switched over to night times. That's been kind of rough going from afternoon to nighttime. That averages there's much more competition, I believe, at that time. But still doing it full time, and hopefully, I can keep doing it.
Yeah. I've seen you grow, like, personally, just over, like, the last year, I think. I've been following you on Twitter for about a year and following the channel for about a year. And you've had a meteoric rise, I would say. Nothing outrageous, but there's definitely growth, or at least it appears to be that way on my end. How do you attract viewers to come see your content? Because there's streamers out there, there's podcasters out there. You do both. How do you attract both audiences? What do you think makes you unique where you get attention and people wanting to spend a part of their day with you, per se, instead of elsewhere?
I think part of the reason why I've had growth is due to my podcast, having several streamers on every single week and them bringing bits and pieces of their community to stream introduces a new audience to me, multiple audiences every single week. So that's valuable more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been doing the podcast this whole year, probably wouldn't have seen any kind of remotely same growth. Beyond that, though, I think that with the older games I play, the retro games I play, I do believe there's a nostalgia kick people look for. So play the game they want to see. As far as them wanting to stay around, I just be myself. I feel like, not to get a soapbox here, I feel like there's a lot of disingenuous positive. What's positive toxicity? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Toxic.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Toxic positivity. Okay, I got it
Yeah.
backwards there for a second. I think that's such a huge thing on the platform. I talked about this during my 12-hour stream yesterday. I said, I hope you guys don't feel like I don't value when you sub, throw bits, donate. If I don't, throw confetti around and shit, because that's just not my personality.
Yeah.
I will sit there and be like, just say, thank you so much. I really fucking appreciate that. But I can't, because it would be acting, right? And I feel like that's what a lot of people do. They, and then the other thing too, I've always felt was, if one person throws, let's say, 10 bits, right, 10 cents, and another person does 25 gifted subs, I don't want to have my reaction change, because I feel like there should be not that much of a difference, because 10 cents is not much compared to what equates to essentially $50. But if I don't make that 10 cents person feel appreciated, who's to say months down the road they won't have a new job where they can throw 25 gifted subs, right? Maybe down the road they'll do that, but it's mostly just a sense of making everyone feel appreciated and making them feel entertained. And having that previously mentioned knowledge, I think, is important. If you play a game, unless obviously it's a new playthrough, then that's completely different. People will come in for blind playthroughs. I'm sorry, you can't call it blind playthroughs anymore. I don't even remember what they're fucking called now. First playthroughs, whatever they're fucking called now. Besides that, obviously, I feel like it's important to have, like I said, knowledge on the lore, because people want to bounce conversation off you. And if you can't, if you can't give them that, then they're going to find someone that fucking can. That's still blind playthroughs. Did they change it back? Because I know Twitch changed the category, so maybe they did change it back. But I think people always need to realize, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's more streamers than viewers on Twitch. I don't know if that's...
It wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know if that's a true statement, but it's a great... I'm sure someone can give me the actual percentile there, but there's a lot of fucking streamers out there playing the same game you're playing. Just because, you click on your category and you don't see one playing the same game as you at the same time, you're like, man, I'm looking pretty good. Chances are in 30 minutes, someone's going to hop on that game. And chances are they might be more knowledgeable about that game than you. And there's been instances where I'm playing game for the first, like Dragon Age for the first time. My mods have to help me catch up on the lore. And there's been times where if I can't sleep, I'll look up the lore and just kind of study it. It's just to, be... And that probably goes back to my time in, college. I studied history. It was all research. It's kind of the same parallel of sorts, right?
Yeah. Well, but that goes back to your that goes back to your passion too, right? Because I mean, video games is your passion, right? And you doing that research, that shows like when you're streaming too, because there might be one day where you're like, I don't know that, and then the next day they come and chat, and you're just like, bam, here's all the stuff that I looked up because you guys asked me this question. Like, that's huge to people. Like to me, I know like when the Grand Theft Auto RP stuff started, right? I had so many questions, and I would go into different chats and stuff, just asking general questions about it, and there, like what I said, like there's some streamers that just didn't know how to answer it, but the next day that I went in, they're like, hey, I remember you, this is what you asked me yesterday, and I thought about it, and then here's all the stuff that you asked, and I'm like, dude, this is perfect, like this, follow and sub, like that, like that's because you just blew my mind, like, of all the stuff that I wanted to know, whether it's like World of Warcraft, League of Legends, like Dragon Age, Inquisition, like that's a huge one. There's so much lore on that too, so I can only imagine, like, as soon as you started on like that path of like looking through the lore, you're like, okay, there's a lot of books to this, so I gotta go through it. So
the only time I've ever been off put by lore, this is kind of a tangent. I was watching the Act Man on YouTube, one of my favorite YouTubers, and he explained that to completely understand what's happening in Halo 5 from Halo 4, you would have to read a grand total of, I believe, 12 books to understand completely what's happening. And I couldn't fathom that.
Yeah, because a lot of those books they intertwine at different sections too, which is crazy.
Right.
It's just
yeah. So it's not only just that, but you have to read it in a certain order.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's so cool to see because like the author and creator who created that had that knowledge of okay, well if I start building the lore, people are going to be interested. Okay, well we're going to expand this out to something bigger, which I think is cool because that just shows that again their passion towards it too. That drives our passion, so it's kind of a they do the work we want to know about it kind of thing. So.
It always makes me think too, and Neria, thank you so much for looking up that statistic between viewers and streamers. I'm glad to hear I was right because I started spitting out that statistic. I'm like, fuck, I hope I'm not wrong. Second guessing myself in the back of my mind. I always think too, when talking about authors setting up either lore itself or an expansion of lore, I always think of the Star Wars, what used to be expanded universe, now it's Legends. I can't imagine being an author that laid the groundwork for post Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, and then being told by fucking Mickey Mouse like, hey, just so you know, what you wrote was lore, but now it's not, but you're being called Legends, so that's kind of cool, I guess.
It's not canon anymore.
Oh.
I dig it. I definitely feel like knowledge on the product that you're playing, and then the being genuine is definitely key. Kind of like you were talking about the 10 cents versus $50. Like it's got to be the same. Everybody's got to feel important. I definitely feel that too. One of the things that I like to see, I kind of like a calmer streamer who's not like all over the top all the time. So like, I'm kind of the same way. I'll get gifted like subs, and it's not like, oh guys, look what just happened. Like it's gotta feel genuine because that's not how I
remember. And I don't want to cut you off. I remember I rated some guy. I don't remember who the fuck it was anymore. I feel bad about it because I think it's the first time I've told this story. I don't know if any of my mods that are in here right now or with me at the time. We rated this guy, and I guess because it hit a certain raid threshold of sorts, I think it was like 40 viewers. Started playing loud ass music. He started shooting off confetti shooters. All like I think there was like 5 of them, so the confetti was fucking everywhere. He starts he lifts up his game chair and starts working out with it. And it was kind of funny because I know he's supposed to look like he was working out with it, but definitely like he was just humping it. So I was just like, is this? Actually, the only thing I thought of was, my man's got to clean all this shit up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be my main concern. Like, now I gotta get a fucking broom. That was the craziest time I've ever seen someone get so over the top. And I'm kind of the same way when it comes to being a viewer looking for someone to watch, because especially now that I have my daughter and I stay at home during the day while my wife's at work, I look for people on Twitch to watch, not only just for entertainment but for myself, but also or people to book for my podcast. And I have to find someone chilled out. I don't mind a little bit of hype, but if someone's just over like, oh my god, guys, we can do this. It's time to push for partner. Let's get fucking hype in here, chat. I can't handle that.
WWE style.
It is.
Yeah, don't tell me.
At some certain point, it just becomes too much for me, and I get exhausted watching it. And I think the best compliment I ever got when as a streamer was when someone said watching me was like going back to 2004, 2005, playing Halo Combat Evolved on the couch doing co-op. And that was such a wonderful compliment because there's like, you're just a fucking chill ass hippie looking dude. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
We once got into a debate on our Discord about like streamers and like the very competitive like Call of Duty players are like, oh yeah, I like to watch this guy. They're great. I like watching them because they make me better. And I remember just telling them, I was like, yo, I just want to watch a dude that I would let in my house and hang out with me in my living room with my family. That's the guy I want to watch. Like, just the guy that's comfortable and calm and genuine.
I feel
I
like
don't need
there's
to hype.
so many streamers I watch and be like, if I let that dude in my house, he would hit on my wife 100%. He would be a sleazebag. You know what I'm saying?
Like he'd be trying to take my kid and everything. And
Sorry, where are you going? Oh,
Even
no,
though
I'm just gonna watch him for you for a minute. Don't worry, everything's fine.
No, just go to the
exactly.
store. You're good. What?
I was going with
Need some milk and eggs.
sleazebag. I wasn't calling anyone a fucking pedophile, just so we're clear.
No. I was picking up what you were putting down. Yeah. Got to protect the little ones. Yeah, make sure they're safe.
Tell them about the recliner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to draw off, but
No, you're good.
because Freezy Pop will come in my office and give me hell if I don't. I think this is what she's talking about. When I first started, for the first 2 months, I streamed from a recliner, and it kind of sucked because I think I had a total of 2 office chairs before I got this one, and those 2 office chairs were nowhere near as comfortable as that fucking recliner was. I could do a 12-hour stream in that recliner and be like, I feel good. So yeah, that's what she's talking about there.
Hey man, sometimes you can't beat recliners though, because it just fits you perfectly. Just rest your arms down, just relax. It's hard to find that sometimes in an office chair. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Though the secret lab that you're sitting in is probably the closest as far as comfort. My wife's got a secret lab, and I'm jealous.
Yeah. At first I started stressing out because being so tall, I didn't feel like he gave enough supports to my thick ass thighs. But the more I got used to it, the more I'm like, you know what? I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make me support myself essentially for back structure, because I was so used to these terrible office chairs that are just overly comfortable, and it fucks up your back really terribly. Like I remember when I got this chair, I was doing a 12-hour stream, and the idea was to alternate between my old chair and my new chair to kind of, ease my way in to do that. And I sat in the new chair first for a couple hours. I was all right, I should probably switch over the old one. I sat down and I was like, this is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever sat in, and just said fuck it and stuck with this chair the rest of the stream. It's amazing how much something that's good for your spine can help very, very quickly.
It's a game changer.
Oh yeah.
So we kind of talked about like some of the games that you play. So what's like if I come in as a new viewer and I just watch you for a week, what can I expect to see from you? Because you do a lot.
Real quick, Nuria, there's actually a category for podcasts and talk shows. If you weren't aware of that.
Yeah, so we had that listed on there, but it wasn't showing up. Yeah, it showed a invalid category.
I've never had that happen before. I apologize. Ignore me.
Oh no, you're good. So is it just podcast and talk show in that order?
Let me go on my dashboard real quick and see if I have any issues with it.
So Brian, what kind of chair do you have?
I have a GT Racer. It is cool. It's got speakers and everything, but I feel like the Secret Lab is built a little bit better. So this one, it's comfortable. It's a little breathable. But when Sarah got her Secret Lab a few months ago, I wanted to steal it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I apologize. What was the question for me again?
Oh, what kind of content to expect? Like if a new viewer were to pop into your channel just on a whim.
Just kind of shooting the shit, honestly. It's a very laid back experience. I always tell people when I'm booking them for the podcast, they're like, I'm a little nervous. I tell them, look, I write out a script. I don't expect you to research into it. I'm going to be plenty knowledgeable about it. Just tell me what you know. And so it did work. Cool. And if you don't know much, I don't care. You could just sit there and learn and give your opinions on what you learned. I've always had this laid back approach, and I let a lot of dirty jokes fly by or not be loud. I let more shit than the normal streamer does. Obviously, there's limits. No racism, pretty much anything against TOS. We're also a LGBTQIA plus friendly channel. I always, it's kind of an interesting thing. Not to kind of go back to talking about me personally. The reason why I'm a ally, I believe, is the correct terminology, is because I was a DJ for a long time. And DJ Deadpool was my name.
Oh, that's awesome.
People fucking love that shit, dude. And,
my God.
And I would always get so goddamn drunk DJing. But anyway, so you know, I was looking for a new weekend set to do, and I got a call from a buddy. I was like, dude, I got this bar owner that really needs a DJ. And I'm like, all right, what's the place called? And it was called The Vo. I'm like, I've never heard of it. But yeah, set me up something. And I walk in and instantly knew it was a gay bar. And I grew up in a smaller town in Kansas. It wasn't that experience, right? Of course, never homophobic, but it's just a unknown of what to expect walking to a gay bar. And I met the owner. He was really nice. He goes, okay, you've clearly never been to a gay bar. I'm like, is it that obvious? He goes, yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We got a drag show going tonight. That's why I need you. I need someone to run sound for the drag shows. Of course, you'll DJ too. You'll run karaoke if we need you to. I'll pay you well. You'll get tips. Because, honey, I can promise you, the first thing people are going to do is tip you a lot of money. I said, okay, all right. He's like, I'll do you one better. Stay for the drag show. Have a good time. I'll pay for your entrance fee. I'll pay for Drink and Drown, which if you've never heard of Drink and Drown, let me tell you, the gays do this very well. They have it's a 3-hour period where you pay $10 and you get unlimited well drinks and I believe draft beers. It's a fucking deal. You can get real crunk off that.
Oh yeah.
I believe it.
And you know, I stayed, got very, very drunk. And I remember the one drag queen, yes, $10. The one drag queen that really got me very excited. She did a number to the Pokemon theme song, and I was the loudest motherfucker in there. I went to the ATM. I turned to my ex. I was dating at the time. I was like, I need to know where the ATM is. I need to give her all the money. and just from there, you know, I got hired on. I worked there for about 2 years. That place goes down. I worked at DJ'd at another gay bar for about a year, and just getting so used to that community and feeling very welcome as a straight man, just falling in love in the culture and the just pleasantry of it all, to where when I started streaming and realizing that there was a community just like that on Twitch, I knew to myself, I want that same kind of community where everyone feels
welcome.
Yeah, because it's really important, I think. You know it. I feel like that there are a lot of douchebags in the world, right? And if someone's gonna come in and say some, you know, homophobic, transphobic, racist shit, I'd be like, no, you're not gonna be here. Yeah, sorry. There's no you can't say that. I'm just gonna ban you. Yeah. And I'm gonna have a fun time doing. Actually, my mods will have a fun time doing that, just without any kind of hesitation at all. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone needs a place where they can be safe for sure, and I'm happy that you do that. That way, people can come in, they feel safe, they can have a good time, and not have to worry about there's this thing that I'm bringing, the stigma, and people are gonna mistreat me or not welcome me. So it's definitely a big plus for sure.
It's an interesting thing too, because that it's the beauty of Twitch. People are learning on the fly, kind of like I was when I first worked at that bar. If they're not used to that community, I remember I was watching one guy. He was like, "Yeah, I'm all for this," and someone made a dick joke, and he was like, "You can't say that." I'm like, I don't think you see where the line is. Okay, it's one of those things where I can promise you, if you walk into a gay bar and you make a dick joke, everyone's gonna laugh. Yeah. Just like if you walk into a straight bar. And I think it's the rationality of knowing when to be respectful and treating everyone the same at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Treat everyone like a fucking human being. That's all there is to it.
That simple. Yeah, it's literally that simple in life.
Mhm.
If you treat everybody well, for the most part, you're going to get treated with respect, and like you're, somebody's kid. Someone will value you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you think that like in the last 6 months that there's been like any emphasis on that or anything different? I know you mentioned the podcast is like a huge part that's brought viewers to you, but tell us about like the last 6 months for you because we're starting the second half of the year. How did bringing in 2021 feel different over the last 6 months versus 2020, which was hell for most of us, I would say.
Right. I feel like 2020 was a steady uphill climb that kind of peaked to a certain extent around 30 viewer average, something like that. And then when the baby was born in late April, I realized I'm gonna have to stream nights. I mentioned beforehand. So going from that higher average down to 13, 14 viewer average is very tough. And it's still tough. The other week I took a week off because I
remember that.
I got fucking upset.
Yeah, you just needed a reset, which I mean that's understandable.
Right.
If you do something at such a high level for so long,
Right.
You get burnt out, and if you feel like it's not being, reflected in the results you're getting, that definitely can be frustrating. I've been there with personal life, with work, gotten there with Twitch a little bit, but you bounce back and you came back within a week. I know it was kind of like an indefinite thing for you. You weren't 100% sure, but here we are.
It was nice because I mentioned that I watched Twitch a lot during the day, and it kind of started the day I took my break. One of the first day I took my break, I started watching people on Twitch, and just sitting there being a viewer for a week for multiple channels kind of brought everything back in perspective.
Yeah.
I watch people I respect very much, and I'm like, they do fantastic things, and I feel like I could do those fantastic things at the same level. Or this is going to sound very arrogant. I've watched streamers during that week where I'm like, I could definitely do a better job at that than them are. Because I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to content creating is having a little bit of arrogance.
Right.
A little bit of arrogance because, there's just this rationality of, I've noticed on streamer Twitter, for example, another tangent for you, where some people don't like that people boast about their numbers, right?
Yeah.
Because they're afraid that it's going to hurt someone's feelings. I don't care. I think that you should be prideful in your work. You should be a little arrogant. I feel like if you want to celebrate with you and your community, you should do that. Because if you don't have pride in this, then why are you doing it?
No.
Yeah, of course, there's people that do it for a hobby. And this message isn't necessarily towards those people. It's more so for the people who try and be like, I want to be the next whoever, right?
Right.
You have to have that kind of arrogance to make it.
Yeah. I think. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Because if you go in and you've got like no self-confidence, you don't have goals, you don't have targets, then you're going to be misdirected. You're going to be doing the same thing over and over and never really growing. So I absolutely respect that. And there's no problem with celebrating success because if you're not successful, then what's the point? You're just wasting your time. You're wasting your viewers' time if you're not growing in order to give them a better product. Because you showing your numbers and going, hey guys, we did this. That growth equates to putting back into the channel, putting back into the quality and the experience that you bring back to them. So you could look at it from the viewer standpoint. You celebrating with your community means that you're going to be able to offer them a better product, in my opinion. And if other people are sensitive about that, then it's probably
that's the biggest thing right. Too. I think for a lot of people when they first start out, as they grow and are able to boast about these numbers, especially if it's from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to let your community know to say, hey, we hit this sub goal. Right. I'm going to invest in a new light or a new camera. or this, or a new microphone, new headset, whatever have you, knowing that, kind of to your point, that these investments are going back into having the viewer's experience be better is a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
Which, by the way,
nice.
if you're... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah, I was going to say it's nice when you can invest back into the stream and you know that none of that money is, for self-fulfillment, like getting the new equipment. Like if someone's a smaller streamer, getting a camera that's not just like a $20 camera and being able to get like a really nice camera that's really sharp. You can thank the community by showing like, hey, this is what we did. This is what you guys did. Here's how it's paying off for you guys. So that's definitely a key thing for me too, is like I've got a job also. Any money that I get from subs, it doesn't go to me. Like my bills are paid. It's directly going into the stream. It's not for me. It's for the community, and that's a big thing.
Right.
Some people they want the subs for like, just their personal reasons. Like, oh, I have to make myself feel great, because they're missing something. But I can 100% tell that it's genuine from you. It's going back into the community and the quality of the stream for sure.
And that was my logic for me personally. For the longest time, everything went back to it. Now it's pay bills. I'm doing this full time.
Yeah.
But because I invested in all this stuff before I went full time, I was able to do that. Luckily for me now, there's not really anything I could think of for upgrade wise. Everything quality wise, I think is great. Only thing I would love is fiber optics internet provider. That would be fucking great. That's my one thing I want to upgrade. But besides that, everything's going to bills, baby stuff. So follow BarginBinGaming. Help me pay for diapers.
300 subs tonight.
There we go.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that. You're open about that. Your community knows that that's what's happening. You're committing to it, and you're offering them the best possible product. So then they're comfortable with where the money's going. And that's a huge deal for sure.
I feel like a lot of people are afraid, or they'll give this advice. Don't talk about your numbers. Don't talk about wanting subs. Don't talk about wanting bits. If you're a full-time streamer, talk about it. It's okay. People are so worried to talk about financial things. And it's like, if you're doing this full time and you don't talk about how this is paying your bills, you're being a little disingenuous. Or you're just being kind of dumb, honestly. And that sounds a little harsh, but I feel like honesty is the best fucking policy when it comes down to it. I'm not afraid to overshare, I don't think. This is how I make money. And like some people don't like sub goals for things. If you don't like it, don't sub. or subathons. I think as long as, depending on what it is, I think it's fine to have a small sub goal. I had one yesterday for a 12-hour stream. It was 30 subs. I think that's fine. There was nothing necessarily that the community got as a reward besides my time, obviously, because 12 hours is a long fucking time. Now, it's a little bit different when it comes to bigger things like subathons. A lot of people are uneasy as streamers when it comes to deciding if they want to do a subathon or not. And I think that's perfectly logical, I think. I myself was very skeptical for a long time because there's that fear of, okay, the base time is 2 hours. You get 2 hours in, no one subbed. You're like, oh no, what am I going to say on fucking Twitter? And I think what's important is, as long as you are not only providing entertainment, because that's why people sub and throw bits.
Right.
It's essentially, you're their entertainment. You're the reason why they're not watching Hulu, why they're not watching cable TV. It's an investment they're putting in towards you. With subathons, I feel like if you give them rewards for different tiers, then you're making that entertainment go even higher. We talked about before we got started tonight, I got these Bean Boozled, right? For that's going to be part of the thing. Like every so many subs, I'll take a Bean Boozled. And it's not going to be fun for me, but the sick motherfuckers out there watching me are going to love it.
And that's fish.
And that's fish.
Yeah.
I have some other stuff. Like I think the very top one is I mentioned the work as a DJ in gay bars. I still have a lot of friends that are drag queens. One of them has agreed to put me in full drag makeup and do that for a stream if we hit the very top goal. So it's just things like that. If you can get people excited, that's fantastic. If you can do giveaways, I don't have a problem with giveaways to an extent. I think that's it. I just always tell people it's simplistic. If you're going to do a giveaway as a streamer, make sure you can afford it. It's that simplistic. I've seen people give away so much. And I've had blunt conversations with my friends who've done this. I'm like, how much do you make a month? That's a little personal. I'm like, I'm here to have a fucking conversation. How much do you make a month? This much? Okay. After you paid your bills, after this and that, how can you afford to give away 3 computer monitors? It's asinine. You're not making that much money off Twitch.
We're giving away a whole living room set.
Exactly. So for the longest time, and I stopped doing it. I just couldn't afford it. It was even as a small thing because Twitch has slowed down a little bit for me. I did something where everyone that subbed got a ticket, right? And at the end of the month, I would add up all the tickets, and all the tickets would be put into a random name generator. And whoever got picked got, I believe, anywhere from $20 to $30 worth of bargain bin games off of Steam, where I would give them either underrated titles or just straight up awful titles. There was the one game, I'm gonna find it because I want to stream it. It sounds redonkulous. Let's see here. I know I'm gonna see it right away. A Dump in the Dark. It's a horror game where your goal is to not be taken by demons, ghouls, whatever have you, and go take a shit. That's the premise. And it looks fucking hilarious.
Looks weird. Yeah.
Did you find it already?
yeah, it's on Steam.
And I feel like something very simplistic like that can get your community excited, but also not burn your wallet,
Yeah, for sure. And it's unique too, because it's not just like, hey, I went to Best Buy, picked up a monitor. You'll love it. I'm giving it away. It's personal. It's something that you took the time in.
Right.
It's got your personal touch to it. It's got a humor that other people who are not viewers wouldn't understand. So that makes it unique for sure. And I think something like that is good instead of just trying to buy your support by just giving away high ticket items all the time. Like it's
so asinine to me.
Yeah, it's not personal.
It really is. I don't see. And the one argument I always give to people if they're doing these crazy giveaways, especially multiple times a month, I tell them, you're not going to like it, but when you stop doing those giveaways, a lot less people are going to come around.
Yep.
You're building up expectations that you won't be able to keep up with.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So you mentioned having the baby now, and you're primarily streaming at night. What's like your set schedule? Like when can people tune in to come see Bargain Bin Gaming?
Oh man, it's scheduled. It's scheduled Tuesday through Friday, 8 p.m. Central to at least 11 p.m. Central with my gaming walkthroughs. And I laugh because there's been a lot of nights where we go way past that, like multiple times this week we went to like 2:30 in the morning, and I kick myself in the ass because I have to be up, and I know if my wife's still listening and she's like, I told you that. I'll have to wake up 8 in the morning to take care of the baby, and I'm running on 3 hours of sleep, and you get really irritated when you listen to a crying baby when you just want to go to sleep.
It hits different when the baby's
so
crying and your eyes burn because of the light because you have no sleep.
Oh, and then of course, so I mentioned Tuesday through Friday, 8 p.m. Central to at least 11 p.m. Central. There's also Saturdays for my podcast I mentioned, 7 p.m. Central to usually 9 p.m. Central. I usually try to keep it about 2 hours.
Yeah, I dig that. That's an easy schedule to work with. Easy for people to tune in. You kind of have a set time. As far as the start time, I think the start time is kind of what matters the most. Because if you're having,
I think so.
yeah, if you're having organic fun and it goes longer than that, I mean, the viewers are going to be there because they want to be entertained. You're not holding anyone hostage. So I dig that. X, have you got anything, or you guys want to go to an intermission?
So I do have some questions, but I
Mhm.
will shoot us to an intermission to give you guys a quick break to get some water and kind of let chat. If you,
How
chat,
long's this intermission gonna be?
how long do
How
you
long
need
does
it
it
to
need to
be?
be?
I mean, if I wasn't sure how long you guys need to be, I was just gonna go smoke real quick.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, we'll
Fair
we'll we'll
enough.
just we'll just do an intermission, and then when we're all back, we'll turn it back
I'll
over
tell
for
you what
you
I'll
guys.
do. I'll have the stream on my phone, and when I see you guys get back, I'll run back inside.
Okay,
Deal.
fair enough.
All right,
And
sounds good.
and then if there's any questions in chat that you guys want to ask, Bargain Bin Gaming or Be the King, feel free to go ahead and type it in, and during that time, we'll have them answer the questions for you guys.
I'm an open book.
Yeah,
Ask away.
yeah.
I get asked the most ridiculous questions all the time. It does not bother me.
So yeah, so all right, guys. So we're gonna take a quick intermission break, and then
Okay,
we'll see you guys back here shortly.
sounds good.
Sounds good. 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. No, unfortunately not. But
Right.
if you do another one in August or September, I should be free.
Definitely.
All right, guys, and so we are back. And so before we get into the next couple questions that I have for Bargain Bin, Be the King, I think you have an announcement you'd like to talk about for some upcoming events.
Absolutely. So July 31st, my team, Post Office Squad, kind of in conjunction with TalkCast, Neria and X, we're going to be running a Warzone tournament. It's going to be trio tournament, custom lobbies. There is not any prize money. It's just going to be simply bragging rights and just seeing who's going to bring it. If you have any questions at all, you can either direct message this podcast or you can direct message me on Twitch, Twitter, Discord if you've got me on Discord. But we're looking for people that just want to have a good time, that are competitive and want to have a good time and, maybe sweat a little bit, but mainly there for the good time and not for any particular prize money. So if you have any questions, I'm sure Neri can put some information down in the chat for you guys to get a hold of us. We're easy to get a hold of, so just let me know.
Yeah, no, bragging rights is always fun thing to talk about too. Especially,
I'll take that over money.
Yeah,
I'll hold it over you for a year.
Yeah.
Money's gone in seconds.
We just swiped a squad with way more followers than us. What's up, flex?
Yeah, exactly. And then start flexing my baby KD.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. Listen, my 0.75 KD is going to showcase its entirety the entire time.
The whole thing.
and by that, I mean I am a certified meat shield, so just letting you all know. I catch bullets. That's usually what I do.
I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you. You keep trying to sell me on that, but I'm not sold.
Does X have 45 kills? The lobby only has 43. Oh, man. All right, Bargain. Let's see. So I wrote some questions down, while we were talking. Just getting to know you just a little bit more. But I gotta know, man, for Gears of War, which Gears of War is your favorite to play and why?
Oh man. That's so tough. I can tell you it's not gonna be 4 or 5 or Judgment. Those are automatically out. I probably would say I played Gears of War 2 the most in regards to the multiplayer, and I believe it had the best campaign. Only because I vaguely remember Gears of War 3 having some server issues off the bat when it launched.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember. I remember that too. Gears of War 3 had a lot of issues that kind of turned people off, which kind of sucks because there was a lot of hype behind it too when it was first coming out. So, so it looks like we do have a question from Kiki Sweets to you, Bargain.
Yep.
What advice do you have for smaller streamers on how to grow? Is there a self-promoting technique that you have on social media that you advise? And what ways would you showcase? And then Be the King, I'm going to ask that to you as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I know there were some other questions above that during intermission too. So for me, it's all about networking, and networking isn't following someone, watching them for a week, and then be like, "Hey, do you want to do a collab?" and then never speaking to them again. It has to be genuine. I guess the point being, don't follow someone just because they're a bigger streamer. If you don't find them entertaining, I can assure you won't want to work with them.
Yeah.
And there's more obvious stuff like on Twitter, TikTok, whatever have you. If you see posts that say, "Let's grow together," let's all that bullshit. Don't waste your time on it.
Those are the winning posts.
They get a lot of engagement. I'll give them that, but it's a pyramid scheme. It really is.
Yeah.
Obviously, follow for follow, support for support is such an overly talked about thing, but it's an important thing for new streamers to know about. And in regards to growing, play what you want to play. Honestly, if you play if you stream Warzone or Fortnite because they're popular, but you don't like playing the games, people can see it on your face.
Yeah.
So.
I think that goes back to the whole passion thing too. right? Because if you're not passionate about the game, you're like, man, this game really sucks. The community is gonna feel it too that are watching you. So I 100% echo of play what it is that you like to play. Um, because again, that just one that brings in the people that actually want to be there to watch and have fun with you as you're having fun with it. But then two, there might be something that you discover, while you're in it, like, oh, look, this is an Easter egg that, I don't know if a lot of people know about. And then they're just like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I never knew that was there. I've played this game for years and I've never known
Right.
that. So, no, I think it's great. So what about you, Be the King? What do you think for growth?
Yeah, I'm with him. Definitely avoid the let's grow together 3 billion hashtags. It's always a scheme. Someone's got something to gain. You're going to tag a bunch of people. They're going to gain those followers. And what have you got in return? Nothing. I'm with him. Networking, it's not just, hey, I'm going to watch this guy for a week, try to collab. It's got to be genuine. I like to watch people and work with people that I would personally hang out with, like in real life. If I don't see myself wanting to spend time with you, if you were, local, I'm not going to want to collab with you. Definitely playing what you enjoy makes a difference too. I am one of, I think, the rare people that like really, really loves Warzone, and I have not fallen out of love with it yet. And you can see it when I play because I'll get loud when I get like certain kills, but then I go like back to normal. I'm calm, and it's organic excitement. It's not like just constantly raging excitement. It's like pleasure.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say being yourself, even on social media. I don't really get too much into like my personal life as far as what I do, everything that I'm doing during the day, but just kind of maintaining who you are while still representing your brand properly. Um, I like humor. That's probably the realest part of me is just trying to make people laugh and have a good time. And I'll do the same thing on Twitter. I'll be trolly without being cringy. I'll post memes without being weird about it. Like the same thing that I would send to you if like I was texting you on the phone.
Yeah.
I'll put it on Twitter, of course, like with filters. Like it's not going to be anything weird.
Yeah.
But honestly, just being yourself when you play, even not trying to oversell anything, not trying to be too cool for school. Just if you're built for streaming and it's what you're supposed to be doing, it will reflect in the performance that you're giving when you're streaming. I try to respond or engage any kind of activity that I get, like on Twitter or within the chat. You can't catch everything, but definitely engaging the people that are willing to engage and interact with you is a key thing. Try to leave no notification left unnoticed. So just being genuine, kind of pretty much everything that Bargain said is 100% legit. Avoid pyramid schemes, just be yourself. If you support someone, support them 100%. Make the commitment, invest in them, they'll invest in you. None of these quick come ups, just be genuine 100% of the time, and it always pays off.
Yeah, what you see is what you get. I mean, you're
Exactly.
showing yourself at face value. There's nothing hidden behind it. So I think that's.
I want to say too. I think things I feel, and people will disagree with this, and that's fine. Just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to having your stream with titles like push for affiliate, push for partner, be really careful with it. And I suppose this push for affiliate will be more relevant for some people, perhaps, than push for partner, but both of them fall in the same line of logic where people come in and be like, yeah, I want to help this guy get to affiliate or partner. And then once that milestone gets hit, a lot of people at least, will typically move on. Yeah. I've seen so many people all, hit partner even. And once that happens, their viewership goes from 100 average to 50 average. It's not always, of course, but I feel like it's back to that overly used term, organic growth, right?
Yeah.
If you try to rush it, you might hit that milestone, but because of it being rushed, it might not get there. And I did get some more questions sent to me. Thank you, Nuria. But the first off, I have to say, just because Proto's one of my mods. He asked, question for Bargain, how do you feel about horse buttholes? and let me get that one out of the way. So it's a running joke.
I'm scared.
In my community. We've been doing a walkthrough for the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. And at the very start of the walkthrough, someone came in and was like, hey, just so you know, the designers, for whatever reason, put in horse buttholes. So every horse has a butthole. Why they did that? I don't know. And I honest to God, my first playthrough, of course, I never noticed it way back when. So I didn't believe him. So we spent a good 45 minutes looking for a horse, and I couldn't find one. And when we finally found it, it just baffled me. And when it became just this running gag to the point to where I feel like there's a little bit of pressure to have my next line of merch reference. Yes, Daddy. Yes, hello. Have some kind of reference to horse buttholes. Also, another fun fact. Apparently, because in the same conversation, I didn't look out for this, mind you. In Red Dead Redemption 2, they definitely gave horses testicles. And part of that running gag was, could you imagine being an intern at Rockstar or Bethesda and your boss comes through and is like, hey, I need you to design this for me. And you're like, oh man, I'm about to design this, kick-ass armor or something. I need you to put in horse buttholes for us. And you do it and you bring it back to your boss. He's like, that's not good enough. I don't believe that'll work. And the other thing someone brought up was like, imagine being that dude and going home to your wife and be like, honey, how was work? What did you work on today? I was like, I really don't want to talk about it.
That's so funny.
Not enough wrinkles. You gotta sleep on that.
If you want, I could kind of take over for a second and get back through for the questions for me. One was from Callisto, from my community, actually. How different is it being a dad compared to what you imagine it would be? I know the answer to that question will change over time. That's a fair point in itself. I hate children. I don't like children. Oh my God. Which sounds terrible. I know. I guess hate's a very strong word. I get easily annoyed by children.
Yeah.
And I don't like babies. Babies cry, they annoy me. But I love my child. I do. I do. It's such a different feeling. This is my only question. Fuck you, Proto. I'm not the goddamn board on horse buttholes. It's the only thing I have a personality where every thing that happens in my life I have to relate to either television or movies. I do. And the only thing I can think of example-wise off the top of my head is the final season of How I Met Your Mother, which a lot of people do not like because the finale is trash, and I agree. In the show, there was Barney, played by Neil Patrick Harris, who was a player, never changed his ways, and through weird-ass character development, he went out of it, then went back into it. And he ends up knocking up some random chick. So I guess minor spoiler if you haven't seen How I Met Your Mother, which has been out for, years and years.
Ruined. I'm just
so when the baby's born, he looks at it and he goes, it's a lovely line. He says something along the lines of, you are my entire life. Everything I do now from now on will be because of you. And it's such a beautiful sentiment, you know what I mean? For someone that had such terrible commitment issues to go full 360 because of this child, right? And I think that's kind of similar to mine aspect. I never knew if I wanted to be a father. Once me and my wife, who we weren't married at the time, got together, I'm like, yeah, I want to put a baby in her. I'm pretty sure. But it is such a different feeling when you have your own children. And don't get me wrong. And actually, it's funny. I still get annoyed by children. But one thing I noticed that changed is if I'm sitting there talking with another parent And they're like, yeah, Jimmy got tennis lessons. Before I had a child, I was like, lady, I don't give a fuck about Timmy nor his tennis lessons, okay? Now it's like, how are they going? How much does it cost? I'm
How's
so
that backhand?
curious about this.
Yeah, it does make a difference. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, anyone that knows me personally or knew me before I had a kid, yeah, I was right there. Kids, little voices, little people running around. I did not like the idea of it, but once you get your own, it's a game changer. Like, you love the one that you have, and like you can relate to other parents. Like, you see, like I'm in the service industry, so I will see kids giving their parents the hardest times, and it used to be, man, that kid is terrible, and it's just like, oh, now it's this kid is giving them a hard time. I understand what they're going through. It's different. It changes once you become a dad. Like, it's 100% different. And the kids get cooler as they get older. Like, my daughter is almost 6, and she is pretty dope. Wait until your little one starts talking. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh
It's
my
gonna be a
god,
game changer.
it's so
They're gonna,
funny.
it's so cool. It's so cool.
It's so funny. My dad, who loves being a grandparent, he is all for it. He keeps telling me, "Don't you dare curse in front of that child." And my wife keeps side-eyeing me whenever he says that, because we both agree it's probably going to be her that makes that child's first word say "fuck." We just know it. We just know it. In reference to what GX said in chat about Fortnite, I can tell you one thing. The one thing I hate about streaming Fortnite, and maybe this goes back to my original hatred of children, but the one thing that really irks me, the one thing that really irks me is when I'm in game chat with the child playing on my team, and he goes, "Yo, these kids ain't ready." I'm like, "You are a child.
Yeah.
Please stop referring to other players as kids." It really just hurts my soul.
There's a lot of 10-year-old grown men out there. Yeah, these kids ain't ready.
Then let's see here. I have a question. Oh no, we gotta get that one. The other one I had was, this is the first one when we went on break. With how you stream the schedule you have, do you find the streaming gaming side to be more entertaining, laid back, etc., or do you prefer the podcasting side of it? And do you do both during the week or just podcasting on Saturdays? See, I only do the podcast on Saturdays, and then we just do the gaming walkthroughs throughout the week. I feel like there's less work for me during the podcast, because leading up to the podcast, I have to write the script, I have to book people, this and that. But during it, I'm just kind of shooting the shit. I don't really read chat very much unless I answer questions like we're doing now, because I don't want to interrupt people, right?
Yeah.
As you guys know, obviously. So there's less kind of having to think on the fly. It's more natural conversation. During game playthroughs, we talked about earlier, lore. If someone comes through and be like, "What do you think about this realm?" I'll be like, "Oh, let me dig deep real quick and process this question." I think it's almost more mentally taxing to a degree with the gaming walkthroughs in comparison to the podcast. Let's see, the follow-up question: do you plan on collaborating with other podcasts in the future? Sure. I plan on with any streamer. So BtheDelicious, if you guys want to come on the podcast in the future, that'd be great. I don't dictate who I book based on what they play. As long as I think they're entertaining, I've booked many different people. And the one thing I've always had in regards to how I book, I've never cared about size of channels. I've booked people with 10 followers. I've booked people with 10,000 followers. As long as you're entertaining, I don't care. Now, is it nice if I book someone with 10,000 followers and they bring 30 viewers with them? Sure. There's that's fantastic, but I think it's equally as important to give someone a spotlight if they're entertaining regardless, right?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Do you have a booking site, email? Just DM me. I usually go through Twitter DMs, honestly. I have an official BarginBinGaming email. I don't check it. I don't, and I feel so awful because that's how a lot of charities try to get a hold of me, and then a month later, I'm like, I'm so sorry, I didn't see this.
Hope little Timmy's still okay.
Right.
Just kidding.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's important, especially if anyone's interested in starting up a podcast. First off, the one thing I always get is I always have people be like, "Hey, I'm going to do a podcast. I hope you're okay with it." I did not create the podcast category. I was not the first podcast ever. I think overall it's important to note that every idea that you can think of probably has already been done on Twitch. That's the reality of things. But one important thing I want people to note is everyone's going to ask you to come onto it, especially as you grow. You're going to get everyone. It's okay to tell people no. And that not just with booking, but collaborations in general. I'm not, this big fucking streamer, but I get messages every other day, and I tell a lot of people no. And it's no, and it's not like I'm just like, no, thanks. I write out long, thought out messages, and I explain like, hey, I am not into this because of this or this. It can be anything from. It is kind of contradicting in a sense, but I mentioned that I'll book people that are smaller, but if they don't have cameras, you can't be on my podcast, unfortunately. If you're going to use your phone camera on the Discord call that we use for my podcast, you're not going to be on there. It's one thing to book someone regardless of size, but at the same time, they have to have quality, I think. Because the people you're bringing on is a representation of yourself to a degree, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, that definitely makes sense. BtheKing, do we have any more questions from Nira? I know she might have sent you a few. Or we cover
If she's
all
been sending them through Twitter, I apologize.
Oh, no.
I've been trying to keep up with the in-game chat.
Oh yeah. No.
Nothing that I'm seeing,
Okay.
and nothing. Yeah, nothing from Discord.
Okay, then cool. Then I can go on to my next question.
Go for it.
How did you choose to decorate your background behind you?
Okay, so first off, all the statues and everything I've had for a long time. I've always been a collector of stuff. The sound foam, I kind of went overboard on because I ordered too many on accident. So I thought it'd look cool. That's about it. Because realistically, when it comes to putting up audio foam, you don't need to cover the wall. There's certain... I'm not a master on this, but essentially it's where your microphone is, and essentially it makes your voice sound-wise boom off in different certain angles, and you want those angles to be covered.
Yep. Yeah. Bass tracks are always good, and then right in front of you, and then always either to the left if there's a giant wall, or to the right, and that usually captures the most of it. Right, and when it comes down to it too, because I have people ask me all the time as well, should I get audio foam? Is it going to help? I still have a little echo in my room, even though I put down a carpet. It's wood floors. There's still a couple of areas I want to get covered with some foam that I think will help out a little bit. But all in all, it's just the acoustics of your room, and it can't be helped sometimes. But when it comes down to it as well, if you can just get it down as small as possible in regards to that echo, if you got a game playing over your sound, people aren't going to notice it. Anytime I look back at my VODs to, clip something, whatever have you, I notice it in my podcast the smidgest of bits, but during my gameplay, I don't hear it at all because,
shit's blowing up in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been collecting this stuff for many years now, and I'm still collecting stuff. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it's nice touches, man, because that's like little bits and pieces of you that, for viewers coming in, they get to see that. It's like, oh, cool, like, that's good talking points. Like, Zelda's up there. I see South Park. You got Jack Skellington, Deadpool, and then
this is the last one I got here from Mario off eBay.
Nice.
So it's just I spend a lot of money on these things, and my wife gives me a lot of hell for it. It's just a weird hobby I got into, and I decided, why not show off some personality?
yeah, no, that's
Definitely
pretty cool. It's definitely not weird, because like again, it's an extension of you, right? That's
right.
Your passion is games, and I think it's awesome because, like I said, as viewers, we get to be part of that too. There's little bits and pieces. You have a bunch of different stuff in the background that it's like, oh, I like that too, and that just that becomes conversation pieces for people to start off with. When we were going on intermission, I was like, dude, that's a huge poster of Gears of War in the back.
Oh, I'll tell you about that. The Gears behind me, and I can show everyone if they didn't see it beforehand. That's actually a standee from Best Buy. If I were to turn it around, that's where they put all of the games in.
Oh, okay.
But I moved it around because obviously the back of it's flat. So I just always kept it.
Yeah.
So I used to work at Best Buy, and
okay.
Things like that were always up for grabs. And of course, no one wanted this big ass standee. I was like, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I will make use of that somehow. And sure enough, I made use of it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, it's cool, like, to see like different people's like backgrounds and stuff. Like I was talking with BtheKing before about his belt that he had in the back of his. And he's like, yeah, that's for all my gulag wins. And I was like, that's great because I suck at the gulag. So yeah, it's just
always like this running joke. I've been like keeping track of like my winning percentage, and then I've been using my Discord status to keep track of it. And then one day I went live, and like the live purple status in Discord just wiped it. So I have no idea where I ended last season.
Oh no! Thanks, Discord technology. Always making our life harder and easier at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man! All right, let's see. So what? So for the name Bargain Bin Gaming, what inspired you to have that as your name?
I get asked that a lot, and there's nothing clever behind it, honestly. When I started up, I think it was my YouTube channel. Which, hey, people watching, if you don't sub to Bargain Bin Gaming on YouTube, go do it, because I'm actually trying to put effort into it now, but. And I need to delete a fucking lot of content because there's a lot of older YouTube videos that are awful, awful quality. I was telling the guys beforehand that I am planning on hiring an editor. We're going to a little test run first, and if it goes well, then if it gives me a good price, I'm not going to, pay, was it Fiverr, I think, that you can get editors from? Yeah. Don't go through Fiverr. My God. Fiverr can be so fucking expensive.
Yeah, there's good and pros about Fiverr. Sometimes you'll
there are some good things,
but there's other people that charge outrageous amounts.
Oh, it could be outrageous.
Something simple.
And that's fair. You may or may not have an editor in chat. Well, hey, I presume Miria is self-promoting there. I will hit you up if if this person doesn't work out. And they sound really great. And when I was chit-chatting with them, they're like, look, here's what we'll do. The first walkthrough, I'll just do it for free. And if it's good, we'll continue. If not, I'll have some experience because they're somewhat newer.
Okay.
And I told them, I was like, so just so we're clear, the first walkthrough is going to be Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. And that's going to be a lot of fucking hours in that game. Like, it's fine. I'm like, all right, I'm impressed. All right, fair enough. I forgot what we were talking about.
Your name.
Right. So when it comes to that, when I first started up a YouTube channel, I wrote down blank gaming, and I just kept throwing stuff at it until I found something that wasn't used on YouTube, Twitch, whatever have you. And that finally ended. And it's funny because yesterday someone's like, yeah, there's just someone on Twitter that uses hashtag BarginBinGaming. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to get my name trademarked. Honestly, like it's expensive. Like I think it could be like at the federal level, like 200 plus. But if I plan on doing this long term, it'll be worth it.
Yeah,
100%. Because the intriguing thing about the legality side of that is if let's say I've been doing this for 2 years, and then some dude on YouTube comes around, also named BarginBinGaming, and they blow up and have like 1 million subscribers out of nowhere, and they get it trademarked first, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
You know it? So that's actually something I'm looking into. Which, all the BarginBin name and the setup, like how it's tied together with your schedule, look. So that's one thing I kind of went with as well. I kind of just threw everything together. I have a weird personality where I just like everything a little abstract almost. That's how like my just chatting screen is. It's all over the fucking place.
Okay, and we should be back now.
Oh, cool. I saw the blinking thing on there, and I saw chat. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, the princess thing. I honestly, if I asked enough people, they would probably tell me that they came up with it. But I just kind of went with it because, like any kind of phase of your life, you're gonna get a nickname, and you just gotta kind of own it. And now my logo is me with the princess hat on, and I even have merch of me dressed as Princess Zelda. So I completely went with it, and it's fun, It's just it's certainly different because I've had people literally come in chat and be like, "Yeah, someone said you were a princess. I assumed you were a woman," and I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw this big ass bearded man instead.
The beards unite. That's for sure.
Yes.
No, that's awesome, man. It's always cool to see like what you were talking about, like nicknames, like on how it all starts too, and like hearing the backstory of like different ways that it came about. So it's pretty cool to see sometimes, especially with like what you were just saying. Like someone came in chat, they're like, "I was pleasantly surprised," and you're like,
Right.
How could you not be? It's me. Congratulations, you won the
prize. Right.
Oh man. So it's pretty cool, man. Like you do such a huge range of, your podcasts, your games, your walkthroughs and stuff. And you said you're looking at starting the YouTube side of it as well, which I think is awesome. I think that's a great way to continue to promote, the good content that you're putting out. And just to showcase, all the stuff that you bring to Twitch, like what you were saying before earlier, that you would see other streamers, and in terms of their content that they are putting out, and you're just like, wow, I'm doing this plus more, and I think that shows in the community too, when what you're providing to them, because it's engageable content that they could talk about, like what you were talking about in terms of like, talking about the lore of a game, or in terms of like, as you're doing walkthroughs, that butthole story was interesting. I never knew that, and so now
Right, me neither.
I'm both intrigued and scared at the same time. So
Yeah.
You're gonna be looking for him now.
Oh my god, I genuinely did not think that was actually going to be a thing, but there we
Yeah.
were. And I think too, the question asked earlier was growing on Twitch. I think it's kind of an overly stated thing amongst streamers, but growing on Twitch, you have to utilize other social media platforms, not just YouTube, but Twitter's incredibly helpful. TikTok, I am not terribly consistent on, but it's helped me grow a little bit as well. But I would say Twitter is probably the most important. Instagram, I don't waste my time on it. I don't think it's that imperative, but I've seen people, utilize it and grow from it. But it's just it's interesting. For me, at least with YouTube, I always didn't put a lot of content on there because I don't have any editing skills at all. I have no artistic ability whatsoever. And now I'm finally starting to look into it, as I said beforehand, and it's okay if you don't have money to hire an editor. A wonderful thing that's new on YouTube is the YouTube Shorts. Literally, all you have to do if you have TikTok and you upload clips is every time you put a clip onto TikTok, it automatically saves to your phone if you have an iPhone. I obviously don't know Android. And you could just simply take that saved video from TikTok and put it onto YouTube. And you'd be surprised how many hits you have. I took one and I got like 1,000 views from it with no effort whatsoever involved.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Another thing too, a lot of people don't realize, and I'm gonna send this to. Can I don't believe I can put links in chat, right?
You should be able to. I don't. We
Okay,
don't have a chat bot
see
that
if this-
blocks it currently.
Let me see if that's right. Yes. Yeah. No. That is right. So there's something called Streamladder, where you take the URL of your Twitch clips, put it in there. It'll automatically. Well, I mean, you have to do it yourself, but it'll let you edit to where your webcam is above your gameplay for TikTok, so you don't have those two black bars across. It's free, and I really suggest it if you use TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And also real fast, there's my YouTube channel, y'all.
See the links for me, they're not popping up. They're showing up as 3 asterisks.
As stars. Yeah, let me try and fix it real quick.
No. I can just send it to you, mods.
Oh yeah, go ahead and send it to Nira, and then she could post it.
Yeah, I got that.
But yeah, no, I think that that tool that you're talking about in terms of removing the black bar, the two bars that go across is great because I don't know how many times there's been videos on TikTok where I go to watch it and then it's just a small tiny screen, and then the bars take up most of the video. So
Right. And what's intriguing to me with that in TikTok, and honestly, with the asterisks, I actually recommend you keep it like that. I don't allow people to post in chat, and in fact, if you ever get stream elements, there's a way to do it to where, and it's not working right now for whatever reason, but it was working for a long time. I probably just made an oopsie somewhere. But if you're smart about it, you can make it to where your viewers only are allowed to post links to clips they made. Yeah. And any other links, besides for mods, of course, won't work. And yes, my mods, if you're in here, I still haven't fixed that fucking issue. I don't know what's wrong with it. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, after this, if you have time, I'll go in through with you, and we'll try and get it fixed. Because I use Stream Elements too on my actual channel and stuff. So
yeah, all we got to do is you can screen share, and that'll be easy peasy.
Yep. Yeah, so
So.
we'll take some time after this to get that
Sure, of
fixed for
course.
you. But yeah, so we covered quite a bit, and for our questions that we had, I don't have any more. The only other question is, what walkthrough are you hoping to do next? I know you were talking about doing you had the YouTube for the Zelda walkthrough for the first time, so I think that's awesome because. So please don't hate. I have never played Zelda before.
That's a
Never.
very common occurrence,
Yeah.
honestly. I hear it all the time. I've had a lot of people on their first introduction to Zelda. And in fact, truth be told, before this year of streaming, I had never played Twilight Princess, Wind Waker. I never played Skyward Sword. This remake's gonna be my first opportunity at that. Um, I played Ocarina of Time when I was a kid. I played Majora's Mask when I was gonna have a big ass Majora's Mask tattoo on my leg. I'm a huge fan of that game. I played a couple of the Game Boy ones, but I wasn't. It's one of those things where Nintendo went through so many consoles,
Yeah.
to where it's kind of hard to keep up.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's true. I do remember that. So growing up, I started off on Sega Genesis, and then I did PlayStation, and then that's where my platform stopped at. Like all my friends had like Xbox, Nintendo. What was it? The N64, I think is what Nintendo put out.
Yeah.
So, but everyone enjoyed like GoldenEye. So like going over to friends' houses, like, dude, this is
Yes.
badass. Being able to play, a different game other than PlayStation games. But I like the Gran Turismo games, Siphon Filter, those kind of games. So yeah,
But in
I
regards
have
to
a
like
question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
What I was gonna say was in regards to some games I'm looking forward to coming up. Uh, Jet Set Radio Future I got my hands on, which I'm very excited for. I
Oh wow.
adore that game. Uh, I'm trying to get this N64 I have fixed up so I can play the original Pokemon Snap
oh
because
man,
me and my wife were playing the new one today finally, and it's not the same. It's not remotely the same for me. It did not hit that nostalgia.
oh
Uh, and there were a ton of ones. I recently got a GameCube. I got an original Xbox. I got a lot of stuff set up. And what's nice on Steam right now is I believe it's still live. They have a huge Star Wars sale where all of their Star Wars games are like 75% off.
oh wow,
That
that's
includes
awesome.
old ones like the Dark Forces series, which I still love. Kyle Katarn's my homie. Uh, and just so I have a lot of Star Wars games I can play. So
Oh, that's pretty cool. So do you dedicate certain times that you're streaming for certain series of games?
it's funny you say that. One of my good buddies, North Wolf 911, um, who's a streamer bigger than me now. We were before I switched to afternoons on the same pace, but he's doing very well for himself. I'm very proud of him. So I'm obviously joking there, but he suggested that as well. And my response to that was, I get burnt out on series very quickly. So for example, if I did one night dedicated to just Zelda games, I would get burnt out. That like when I finished Twilight Princess, my community was like, "Let's do Wind Waker now." I'm like, "No, I'm not ready yet." Those are long fucking games. Same thing for Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls, Fallout's, and not and even like Star Wars games. I don't know. Maybe I could probably pull off Star Wars, but I have this weird thing when it comes to games, and I tell people this all the time. I can't play the same game more than once unless maybe 8 years have passed. And it's the same thing with movies. I can only digest content the one time.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
which is nice, for the type of stream I have. I get to revisit all these games that I only ever played once.
Yeah.
And I of course don't remember much of the content from it. So
Yeah, so it's like the chat's learning something new and you're learning something new at the same time. So it's kind of a nice balance.
100%. 100%.
Like I said, yeah, especially with those walkthroughs too, and then having the community involved to help like remember some of those things too. It's kind of nice because then it's like they're reliving it too while you're playing. So
Sure.
it adds that nice little characteristic of involving the community with your exploration of the game and then their exploration of the game as well.
Agreed. Now, of course, there are some instances where that's not always the case. Like Halo games, I've played 1,000 times over. Gears of War, I've played 1,000 times over. Same thing with movies. There's some movies I've watched 1,000 times, but genuinely, even with movies, generally speaking, I can only watch them once.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like I said, you bring a good aspect into, like for the viewers too to understand, like why doesn't he stream the series? And it's kind of cool to see that insight too, because like you said, we're humans too, and we do get burnt out, talking about
And if I may too, I don't want to be known as a Zelda streamer or a Kingdom Hearts streamer, whatever have you. And there's nothing wrong if you do that. I'm not saying that. I just, like I said, the burnout, but also I don't want to be having success because of one game. And then when I've ran through all the Zelda games in a year, what am I going to do then?
Yeah, you don't want to be siloed into just one game.
Right. And I know I have friends that do that and they have contingency plans. Like they're just going to go to a different series. But I'd be worried about viewership falling off. And then I'd be kind of worried about having to, once again, stick with the same series for a year.
Yeah.
That would drive me nutty.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, having that variety sometimes helps. Yeah, I know for myself, there's like very few games that I'm, or maybe good at. I'm not gonna say that I'm good at it. I'm I'm terrible at best. So like sticking to that game to try and get better, that might work for me. And like you said, all of us streamers are different. Everyone's different too. So yeah, being able to have that variety it's like a new breath every time that you stream, because it's not like, man, I got to do the same level again. We're gonna start from the beginning. So it's nice. It's nice to kind of break that up and like you said, just not be stuck on it or doing it for 2 years straight of the same thing. So
I don't know. I'm excited though. I think by taking a break from series, it kind of hypes me up a little bit more anticipation to an extent. For example, here's a piece of advice if you're a streamer and you're a big Nintendo person. I don't want to. I'll touch on the horror games in a second. Spoiler alert: I'm a big bitch when it comes to those. The Wii U is something that's very underrated for streaming, presuming you have a capture card. Which, of course, if you want to play any console and you stream it, unless you're streaming from said console, which is a whole other story, capture cards are needed. The Wii U, its Wii U store is still online, and there are so many games you can get from there. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Star Fox 64, Pokemon Snap. Other ones I can't think of, but the ones I found really intriguing were the 2 Nintendo DS Zelda games in Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. You can get those on there too and play them off the Wii U. So if you're a Nintendo person, that's not a bad investment because the console itself, I mean, it's going to run you over $100, but if you are patient about it, you can probably get a good deal on there.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to, I hear we're talking about horror games. First off, I hate saying horror games because every time I talk, because I talk pretty fast, it sounds like I'm saying horror games. And people make a lot of fucking fun for me for it. Because I'm not talking about fucking horrors, obviously. I'm easily frightened. I really am. And people always give me crap for it. But I'm starting to slowly but surely dip my toes into the genre, if that makes sense. For example, I did a 12-hour stream where we did the entirety of Dead Space 1. Loved it. We did the same thing for Dead Space 2 and 3. Didn't love those. Unfortunately, those got worse and worse as it went on.
Oh.
Dead Space 3 is an atrocious game. Don't dive in. I can't. I know. I think, Coyote, I don't know if you're here, one of my mods. I think we talked about The Evil Within. I've heard good things about that. I've watched people play Outlast. I don't really get the appeal. Of course, I'd be scared playing it, but just watching other people play, I'm like, this seems kind of boring. I don't know. Maybe it's a hot take, but there's plenty of ones I would love to play. Resident Evil. I'm not that familiar with the series. I've watched Markiplier play 7 and 8 and enjoyed that experience. It freaked me the fuck out just watching him play it.
No, jeez.
I got the first Resident Evil remake that was free on Xbox Live Gold. I'm gonna stream at some point because it was free. Why not, kind of thing. And I'll continue on that way. I know I have to do Silent Hill because I never played that series, and I hear that's terrifying. I don't think I've even watched gameplay of that. So I have a lot to do in regards to that. I'm still kind of salty, and I know a lot of people are, about PT never happening. And that always really intrigued me about not a trailer, but a demo, essentially. People being so intrigued by that, that had Norman Reedus as the protagonist.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who the designer was. Moose, you probably know, but I'm so terrible with names. But that captivated me in the sense that a demo had people so intrigued, and there's still people today doing the whole boundary break thing, looking all over in walls and stuff, looking for little Easter eggs and stuff for a demo that lasted 10 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer, but still, anyway.
Yeah, but sometimes those demos get you though too. It's just like what you're saying, just the just the intriguing part of it. That being able to captivate you, because it's very rare. Because a lot of games are so templated now. A lot of them have the same concept, and finding a game that actually, brings out that real genuine interest of, dude, this game is awesome. I think it's a few and far between on some games like that, which kind of sucks because, I think game developers, they're, like I said, they're so used to just templating everything and, having everything kind of like, the same. Oh, well, you have to go and search for, this to survive, but it's in a blatantly obvious place.
It's very intriguing. I think that you don't want any kind of genre, not just spoopy stuff, but anything. You don't want it to get incredibly generic, like, let's say, hack and slash games.
Yeah.
Those got real bad for a while there. But at the same time, you also don't want anything to get overly convoluted to the point to where you're just like, there's too much going on right now. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's this weird fine line you want to walk in. I think actually hack and slashes, I mean, that was true probably during the 2000s, mid 2000s, but the one that really got generic were, and still to this day, are open world games. Those have gotten really fucking terrible because they got very generic and got lazy.
Yep. Yeah, for example, the Dragon Ball Z series that's open world.
Oh, Kakarot, I loved playing it. I did. I loved playing it because I hadn't watched the original series in years and years and years. It did a very good job, from my understanding, following the plot line. And, of course, they left out some stuff, but overall, it did a great job. But it's, besides the characters, the character models themselves, it's an awful looking game.
Yes. 100%.
Especially the backdrops are like PS2 style. And what really offended me were the side missions. The fact that, and this used to be a more common occurrence in regards to side missions not being voice acted. That used to be much more of a thing. But for a game that came out in, let's say, 2019, to not have voice acting for side missions felt really fucking lazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100% agree. Because you're like, oh, dope! I got to do this side mission, and that's not my character. Oh, this is great.
Oh god. It felt like there were mods, which I'm not knocking the mods because there've been some amazing mods, but I shouldn't get that sense in the day one release.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can understand that, and that's the reason why I brought it up, was because, of the reviews of that was one of the biggest things, was the side missions, and so that's, talking about it, because I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, always
Right.
have been. Vegeta's my dude.
You know, it's funny you say that. One of my community members yesterday during the 12-hour stream was like, "Who was your favorite Dragon Ball Z character?" And I got you, bro. Vegeta. He had by far the best character development in the series. Also, somehow ended up being a better father than Goku.
Right?
I agree on that. Like, Vegeta did have like the best character development. Gohan's my favorite, but I mean, let's be honest, Gohan did not end well.
Dude, there was so much hype after the
Vegeta
Cell
had
games,
better growth.
man. Well, because like Gohan was a beast, a Super Saiyan 2
Yeah.
teenager, and then nothing.
Yep.
I was one of the weird. I loved what was his when he was a superhero. What was his name? Something.
Great
Super
Saiyaman. Great
Something
Saiyaman.
like that.
I ate that shit up when I was a kid, but looking back, like, this is really dumb.
Yeah.
This is really lazy filler, and I'm not here. As a kid, I thought it was the most entertaining shit in the world.
Dude, but we have to say the real OG father of Gohan, Piccolo, hands down.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
By far. Especially early on in the series. Like, Goku was non-existent. And sometimes, obviously, he was dead. But other times... And what I have to really say about Goku, above everything else, he is a terrible, throughout the entire series, a terrible husband.
I
Awful
had
husband.
that same debate at work literally, I think it was yesterday. I was like,
Really?
Piccolo really should have been Chi-Chi's husband.
Oh, I didn't go that far,
Never
but
there.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Go from the zero, go to the hero, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Toriyama was going to give Vegeta a better arc, like when DBZ Super, or Dragon Ball Super came out. I was hoping that Vegeta was finally going to have his time, but
There was one scene in Super that I really like, gave me little goosebumps, and I believe it was Super. It's been a long time now, and for all I know, I could get this shit mixed up in GT, which I only watched GT once, even as a youngster. I'm like, this is stupid.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all of us. We're just like, GT.
Yeah, that's it. That's the funny thing. Before I get back to my original point, that's the funny thing when it comes to any kind of community, when it comes to video games, anime, it can be so divisive. But I think the one thing universally people agree on is Dragon Ball GT was garbage. But the one thing that I loved in Super regarding Vegeta was the God character, and I'm really bad with remembering names.
Beerus. The Destroyer.
Yes, I believe he's the one that like kept giving them dinners and parties and shit, right? Like he tried being buddy almost at times.
Yeah, correct.
Right. He doesn't he like pimp slap Vegeta's wife,
Yep.
and then like he goes, "That's my wife," and he just
yeah.
fucking goes off. I'm like, yes, I'm here for that.
Yeah, dude, and the fact that even Master Roshi was like, dude, he's stronger than Kakarot. I think that was, or Goku. It was just like, finally, Vegeta has his time to shine, and then Beerus slapped him around. Why? We had 2 minutes of this awesome, like, Vegeta's finally gonna have his moment, and then Goku becomes Super Saiyan God. It's like, I'm done with this.
I stopped watching Super at a certain point. I lost interest. I think I just got to that age where, because I think it came out when I was in high school. I don't remember the exact year it came out, but I was getting to the point to where. What year did Super come out? Do you remember?
Super came out. So the Magna dropped 2017. and the show itself I think came out like 2018.
Oh, so it's much newer. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, never mind. Huh? I guess
Sure.
maybe I'm getting mixed up with GT again. I probably. No, okay, no. I'm coming back. I'm coming back now. I think I got pretty far into Super. I think GT I dropped pretty quickly. But even with Super, it wasn't the same for me in regards to like Dragon Ball Z or even Dragon Ball, which partly is probably nostalgia. I'm sure.
Yeah. I think the only time in Super that Vegeta really showed his great hand-to-hand combat skills was when he was fighting Jiren, and Jiren was throwing these punches and was just messing Goku up, and then Vegeta's like, "Nah, I got this," and dodge. It's just like, yes, finally, because Vegeta's always been a master tactician when it comes to combat. Goku's just
Right.
the idiot of the entire thing. Oh,
That's
you
like, isn't it like he's because of his bloodline or some shit?
well, I don't know, because his dad was a master tactician in
Right.
terms of like fighting, understanding like, okay, oh, you have hidden power? No, I'm not gonna let you get that. I think Goku's naivety comes from um his earth raising from his grandfather
Right.
Gohan.
Well, in fairness, Vegeta's royalty, isn't he?
Yeah, Vegeta is
Right.
the principal.
He loves to tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I remember
Yeah.
now.
Arrogant, but I love it.
That was actually, now that I think about it, that was one thing in Kakarot that they didn't really bring up in the dialogue. I don't think was him bragging about being the Prince of Saiyans, because I played that not that long ago and I don't remember that being referenced.
Yeah, which is crazy because the entire arc of DBZ was Vegeta's like, dude, I'm the Prince of all Saiyans. You bow down to me. Now he's taking a nice nap to just. Oh yeah, sorry, that was a whole tangent. I could talk for hours on DBZ. So
All good by me.
Good subject.
but yeah, so I don't have any questions, but Moose has a question for Be the King. Is about your belt on the show.
The Gulag title. No, so honestly, I got it when Toys R Us went out of business. It was one of the things I never had was like a full-size WWE title, so I got one. But it made its way into the stream because I always had like the real fights in the Gulag because I suck at Warzone for being 100% honest, but I can clutch a 1v1. And so I would just get Gulag win after Gulag win. So I was like, oh, Gulag champ. That's why that's theirs, because I'm a self-proclaimed Gulag champ, even though I'm terrible at it this season. That's what the whole belt's for. It's just a gag, just a running joke.
Oh man,
I've lost many Gulags.
Yeah, I think Gulag is like the worst. I think the only time I'm good is like in the plane right before we jump out. I think that's the only time I'm alive. So.
God. You give the good speeches that get us all engaged.
Yep, yeah, exactly. All right, guys, we're gonna do this, and then I get shot out of the air. It's like, I can't even land.
It's me in a nutshell. I'll give like the motivational Aragorn style speech, and then the moment I break my ankles, I'm just like, yo, I'm done.
Do the SpongeBob, my leg.
Yeah. Or I'll hit the team with a quick, guys, this isn't it. I don't think this is it tonight.
Oh my god! So I have to mention this because of the SpongeBob thing. My wife had never really seen any of the Star Wars movies besides the new ones, which I couldn't let go. So we watched, the OGs, the prequels, and the Solo movies. Ironically, we watched Solo today, and she loved all of them. We could not finish Solo. She was like, "I'm so bored," and I didn't blame her. Solo was not very good, but there was one part where I think it's towards the beginning when Solo is a Imperial infantryman, and there's a battle going on. You hear someone scream out, "My leg!" I'm like, "There's no way they didn't think that was going to be cheesy." No, what?
Dude, it always gets me every time. I don't know why. It's just something that's just so simply put, but it's just hilarious. Like to crack up. It's just like my leg. Just what? How? Oh,
the new one is just getting sniped out the sky. Like someone sniped me out the sky when you just didn't pull your parachute.
I still love SpongeBob. I do. I have that little Patrick back here.
Yep. Yeah. I noticed that too.
And when I was at my parents' house the other day, I had to watch the kid when they went to go take care of some stuff. and jokingly put on SpongeBob to watch with her. And we were sitting there watching. Well, my 2-month-old was just kind of staring into space, but I was sitting there watching, and it was some of the newer stuff. Like, this is terrible, awful, and it's so evident because, of course, everyone knows that the creator of the show left after, I believe, the second season, as well as the first movie, and then I believe he came back for the third movie before he unfortunately passed away. But that show got real bad for being a show that was so well written. Obviously, it was originally intended for adults, but it was a very, very cleverly written show. The one cool thing, though, I will say, of the couple episodes I watched before my wife got back and we headed out, was there was one episode where it was what do they call it? Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy go back in time and meet their younger selves. And Mermaid Man's younger version was voiced by Adam West, which I thought was dope as shit.
No, that is dope as shit.
Yeah, I was very excited. Adam West has that distinct voice that you can always pick up. It's him and Mark Hamill. I will pick up Mark Hamill no matter what. Like, he's in that new show Invincible. Have you guys seen on FX the show called What We Do in the Shadows?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Watch it, please. By itself, it's fucking phenomenal. And I guess minor spoiler alert, Mark Hamill guest stars in an episode. And it's fucking glorious, him being a vampire.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
You have to, if you have Hulu, I believe it's on there. And I believe it's at some point going to have its 3rd or 4th season release. It's a good fucking watch.
Wasn't one of the main characters from In the Shadows? Didn't he direct the Thor Ragnarok movie?
So, Takiki, I don't remember how to say his name. He was in the movie that he also directed. Now, the series is in the same universe, I believe, and he is a Taika Waititi. Kalisto, am I saying that right? I feel like I'm fucking that up, but anyway, I believe he produces the series.
Oh, okay.
But the series is as good as the movie. There's no drop off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which you can usually see, anytime a movie has a TV series come up, it's usually not the same quality. But this one is real good.
Oh, yeah? Okay. It's good to know. So I'll keep that in my back pocket, and I'll let you know after I watch it.
Yes.
But that does it for me in terms of questions. But does chat have any additional questions we would like to ask our honored guest or our honored host?
I know I personally got one for Bargain Bin. So we talked about your first half of the year. What's the game plan for the last half? Any goals or
oh man,
thing that you're seeking out?
I guess it's pretty simplistic, I believe, to a degree. I want to get back to the same average I had before switching to nights. Going from right now from 15 to 20 viewers back up to 30, and obviously past that. I have a minor goal that I really stole from somebody. What's his fucking name? I'm about to steal someone's idea and I can't even think of the name. Razkid, another single player streamer. He has a goal where he wants to stream 100 games in 1 year. And I kind of want to do the same thing. I'm at 30 right now. And of course, right now I'm stuck on a lot of really long games. I'm about to start a Zelda game, so that's not going to help. But I'd like to do something like that, Just if you look at my bounce, you can see all the games I've beaten and the platforms I played them on, which is interesting to me because it kind of shows what the channel's about. What else? I mean, obviously, partner's the goal, right? I don't think realistically I'll hit it this year, but I'd like to be on track for next year to do so. And just continue growing my community and keep having fun with it, Because even if I were to hit partner, if I'm not having fun with it, then something's not adding up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I can add to, as you're growing, and it sounds corny as shit, but keep true to yourself. You know, if there was one streamer I knew, I won't name names, though I do love tea. He was a really cool cat, man. He averaged 25, 30 viewers, and he started marketing his Discord in almost like this pyramid scheme type way. You join this Discord, you join this community, we'll help you grow. And he got the partner very quickly. And then once people realized, hey, I'm not growing, what's happening? He went from partner numbers to, I think he's averaging, I don't talk with him anymore because I didn't have any respect for him after that. He went back down to like 25 viewer average. So definitely, if I have any advice in regards to that, or as far as like what I want to maintain this year, be honest. Don't be a dick.
Fair enough. Sometimes it's just that simple.
Sometimes it's just that blunt. Yeah, I think so.
It looks like Moose asked if we could play one game for the rest of our lives, what would it be? I'll let you go first.
Oh, man.
That's a hard one.
Moose, if you keep having questions like this, I want you to come to my channel and ask these same questions in case you start running out of time, because I like Moose.
We do too.
One video game for the rest of your life. It's tricky. It would have to be a really, really. That's really fucking difficult. All right. Counterpoint, Moose. Counter question. This game. No, you don't win yet. Fuck you. This game, let's say like it's an MMO or something, right? Would it have continued contents coming out for it for a certain point? Such as a WoW or Old Republic, where, you know, down the line we'll get more and more DLC?
He said yes.
So he's okay, so that is a thing. Okay. So I would probably go with the Old Republic. Even though I've never played WoW, but I've always had a joke where I refuse to play WoW because I know if I do, I'll never play another video game again. But knowing me and my love for Star Wars, I would probably go with the Old Republic, presuming they'll continue to pump out content for it.
Fair enough. If I had to say one, a complete game like as it is, no new content, it'd have to probably be a Tony Hawk game for sure. Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I'd probably say. That was the one that
soundtrack, I would never get bored of the music.
Yeah,
I would be
exactly.
jamming out all the time.
Yeah, are you really skating or are you just listening to music and you're just keeping your fingers busy? That is the question.
I'm down for it. Because I mean, like, even if you don't feel like playing the game anymore, just hit pause, and if the music will keep playing while it's paused, do that while you're doing something else in the background, right?
Yep, just rocking out to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see. The one. So if we're gonna go by soundtrack based, I would have to go PlayStation 2 Need for Speed.
Underground?
Yeah. The first one.
That was a banger when it came out, yeah.
That was actually going to be my response to that, was one of the Underground games. Those had wonderful music.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Little John the East Side Boys, every day.
Another one that would be good if you wanted to cheat with soundtrack would be, here's one for you. Def Jam Fight for New York.
Oh, wow. A cult classic.
Which, by the way, if you want to get a copy of that right now, good luck. I've been looking for like 6 months, and every single time it's been over $100 at least.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of the older games people are selling for crazy amounts now. Just mind blowing sometimes. Like trying to find a backwards compatible PS2 or PS3 that plays PS2 games. That was difficult to find, and there's only certain serial numbers that actually do it.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
It was like the first wave, right?
Say it one more time.
It was like the first wave of the PS3s that did that, right? Like not the Slims and all the watered down ones.
Correct. Yeah. So they're not the Slims. They're the thick boys. But yeah, even the ones that were the thick ones, some of them did and some of them didn't. So like trying to make sure that the serial numbers actually match up were the hard
That's
part.
really tough. Oh man, that's really tough. I'm glad you said that though, because I have been looking into expanding into PlayStations. Because like I said, I have almost all the Nintendo consoles. I have all 3 of the Xboxes right next to me, but definitely PlayStation is something I'm looking into. So I'm really glad you said that.
Yeah, the only reason why I know that is because PlayStation 2 had a game called Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. So you would actually build cars, race cars that were obviously in Japan. But the only difference with that was you actually had to maintain your coolant in terms of heat and your oil for how hot it got. So it gave that realism of, okay, well, I can't just drive around the city forever and not have to worry about that. No, if you actually have to pay attention, like after races, like after a boss race, because you'd actually race at the time real gang leaders that were in Japan that actually had like a gang in Japan was represented in the gang or in the game. So I thought it was kind of cool, like having that aspect of it, and you can go and race around like on the actual circuit of Japan with the real freeways and everything.
So
So,
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
but yeah, so I don't think there's
There was one
any.
more
Oh yeah.
question. Who would make your dream come true to play one game with? I feel like for me, because I'm not gonna say I sound like him, but I think they're relatively similar, and I enjoy his content more than anyone. His Markiplier. I would love to have a 5-minute conversation with him.
5 minute
Or,
conversation and play a game with them.
I mean, if I had to pick one, I don't like to sit down like to have a podcast with him. I don't know. Oh no.
And the tough questions continue.
Okay, no, here we go. Here we go. I would play a game with him in this hypothetical situation to where that video was put on his channel, so I get big and famous.
That would be pretty cool.
If I had to pick someone, I don't have like a huge streamer or content creator. I'd play with Tony Hawk. It
That
doesn't
would be
matter the
so
game, but
fucking
I would.
cool.
Yeah, I'd love to beat him in his own game. But if he was like, "Let's play Warzone," I'd be cool with that also.
He was in a. It kind of threw me off because he was in a Subway commercial recently,
I just saw that for the first time like 2
which
nights
I'm
ago.
just like,
It was weird.
how many people and obviously we do, but
Yeah,
how many of the target audience is gonna either remember Tony Hawk or know who he is?
yeah.
Especially when he's only in frame for like 5 seconds. I only
Right.
recognize it because of his voice, honestly. If he didn't talk, I would not have noticed him, more than likely.
Yeah, but think how many
Yeah,
times
it
that
was
commercial's
weird.
been rewatched though. Just like, is that Tony Hawk? Let me just rewind that back real quick. Oh
Fair.
crap, it's Tony Hawk.
The point
Yeah.
being, like, if your target audience is, say, I don't know, probably hypothetically 22, like let's say 16 to 22, some along
Yeah,
those
they wouldn't
lines,
get it.
they wouldn't have any idea, and
No.
that's got to be at least a decent percentage of your target audience.
Yeah. It's us guys that are like somewhere between like 25 to 30 that are going to remember it. Like,
Right,
we
yeah.
were there when it was written, so to speak.
It's over 900.
Yeah. I remember the 900. Oh,
Dude,
man.
yeah,
Game changer.
when he landed that was crazy.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen that, go to YouTube and watch that clip because during that time,
Right.
that was the craziest thing to see.
Or Pastrana landing a backflip on a dirt bike.
Dude, watching
That was
Brian
game-changing.
Deegan attempt that same backflip that Travis Pastrana had just landed was
Yeah.
crazy. The rivalry between those two was just a trip.
Oh, they were pushing each other.
My favorite thing to do is watch smaller skateboarding movies that were, I think probably early 2000s, like one I still rewatch. That's the stupidest movie, but I still giggle to it, is Grind. I love that.
I never watched
movie.
that one.
No, if you can,
No,
if you can
never.
find it like on probably be Amazon Prime, you would get some appreciation. It's got a few skaters in, like Bam Margera, I believe, is in it.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I watch it for nostalgia. Yeah, to see those.
Oh, for sure.
From back then, yeah.
Dead Vapors, that's what I'm talking about.
Vapors is that guy.
Talking about nostalgia. I thought you were going to say Brink for a second. That was the
oh god, the inline skating
the inline
movie.
Skating movie, yeah.
Oh my god, I remember when inline skating was really fucking popular. Like
it blew up. It had like a year or two. Like,
it did, and there was an Xbox game that actually rivaled Tony Hawk a little bit. It was actually a pretty well developed game. In fact, I got it off eBay not long ago, and I have a physical copy of it. I'm probably going to stream at some points. But like to your point, that there was a solid 1 or 2 years where so popular. I also have Grind on DVD. It's got the weird like foldable when you open it one, right? I never liked Skate. Maybe it's just me, but I really preferred the Tony Hawk games.
I think they're for a different animal. Like, I think we're two separate skate game players.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
different
but
audiences.
to be fair, when it came to the Tony Hawk games, I Skate 3 is better than any Tony Hawk game. That's not true at all. Because I played Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2 for the stories, and they were fucking fantastic stories, and the soundtracks were good too. Now, the one I tried replaying on stream, I ended up beating it. That was a struggle. Was American Wasteland. That game was fucking garbage. And even as a child, I was like, it's okay, but now like, I was stupid.
Project 8, I think, was probably like the height for me because they took like what they did with Underground, and I felt that it just came together. Like, you're trying to make a team and skate with Tony. I think you were still trying to get on like Tony Hawk's team. I like that one a lot. Like, Underground was game breaking. You could get off the skateboard. You could run around.
Right.
I dug that. Yeah.
The one I believe I played Project 8. I don't know if what was the one between those? It was Downhill Jam.
We don't talk about that one.
Was it not good?
We don't talk
that
about
was the Wii one. That was the one on Wii where you had like the board that was also like a Wii Fit board, and you just went downhill.
Ooh.
We don't count that one. That one doesn't count.
So funny.
Yeah, the Project 8 was great, but yeah, Tony Hawk for me, that's my game. That's my guy. I honestly don't play the game on stream. I think I streamed it one time, day one when they re-released the remasters, but I don't play that enough.
I think that with the remasters,
mm-hmm.
I didn't have intrigue streaming them because of the lack of story.
Yeah,
it would be hard for me to be entertaining and bring contents in regards to that.
Yeah, there's a really heavy competitive scene. It's almost unplayable. Like, if you're not like top tier, don't even bother. Like, there's guys busting out combo numbers that we would have never dreamed of in this game. That's really the only content there. Yeah, like, there's wild numbers, man. Wild numbers. Like, I remember getting 1 million and 2 million and thinking that was cute, but there's guys out there doing 14, 15, 60 million combos. Like, no mods, none of the cheat codes that we use as kids. Just
wait, there's cheat codes in the game?
There's mods that you can activate in the game, but like, you remember you had like the B down, upright, like those kind of things that you can put in the main menu. You can apply those inside of the new remasters.
Yeah,
but it's just like a switch you turn on. But we don't use that at all.
You blew my mind. I played those games with no cheats this entire time.
Oh, really?
And I feel
man, those wild
feel defeated now.
Yeah, like there was at least 10 cheats like per game.
All right, so in response to Juiced, here's what I will say. First off, Tony Hawk's Underground came out 2004. Skate 3 came out 2010. There was much more proper technology for that. Now, I will agree Skate 3 is a much better technical achievement because the Tony Hawk formula never got better. It was always basic. Yeah. But I don't play things for the technical side of things. I have to be engaged with the story. Like if there's not a asshole best friend named Eric trying to put me in jail.
That was my best friend's name growing up.
Was it really?
Yeah. He was a solid guy though.
No, I bet. It's so funny though. I was watching a video. It was like top 10 all-time video game antagonists. In Eric Land number 3, I'm like, at first I'm like, there's no way, but then I thought about it, I'm like, that guy was a dick, so no, I think that's actually pretty proper. Which of the GTA games do you say was the best? Ooh. Oh man, do you guys want to go first on that?
I don't know if I have a favorite, if we're being honest. I mean, they're all great. So I don't know if there is a favorite one for me.
I can agree on that. I think each one is astounding in the sense that they all take place in different eras and locations.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them all so unique, right? You can't really compare Vice City to San Andreas. And the only real comparisons you can make are based off of the quality of games as far as, technically speaking, like I was saying beforehand. But if one game is 10 years older than the other one, you can't fairly compare the tech side of things, right? You can only really compare the writing and the dialogue and the soundtracks. And I think the one, it's actually right here, I recently streamed that I think was very underrated, GTA 4. I love this game.
Yeah,
I think it had a very good story. I think it didn't do that well because it was a very gray game, which I think they did purposely so. Like all the buildings, the everything was gray. But I think there was a purpose behind that because when you as the protagonist, Nico Bellic, arrive, Cousin Roman told you all these crazy things about the American dream where it's amazing, but you get there and it's a fucking shit show, right? It's a hellhole.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually somewhat clever to have the representation of the environment be that gray color because it's the exact opposite of the American dream, thinking how everything's just amazing looking. Now, I will agree with J-Man. The DLC for GTA 4 was impeccable. Bow to Gay Tony and The Lost and the Damned. Fantastic. Probably, arguably, top 5 best DLC in video game history. Cool. I can safely say that from a single player story telling standpoint. 100% could say that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's a lot of content when it came to GTA 4 for sure. I think the only GTA that I've ever played through all the way, GTA 1 on PlayStation. That's the only one that I've ever played through all the way.
Would you just get bored on the other attempts, or have you not attempted them?
So I have GTA 5, for example, right? I never had a chance to play 4, never had a chance to play the other ones. When I was younger, I only had PlayStation, and my dad had bought GTA, but he didn't know what it was. He's just like, I think you'll like it, maybe. So that style was different, right? Because it's the overhead cam, and you're a little pixel dude just running around, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
So looking at GTA 1, starting off from those graphics to like GTA 5 now, like the graphics are crazy to me.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I will say, in response to Juice, because, Juice, me and you are very opinionated. I appreciate that about you. For the time, GTA 4 had the best DLC, but there's hella games that outdo it right now. Name one DLC that's better than that. Red Dead. What, the zombie one? I mean, it was cute, but it was a fucking zombie game. Assassin's Creed has had garbage DLC. I disagree 100%. Batman Arkham series, none of them were really that great. The only DLC that I can think of on the top of my head. Ooh, sub-hype, baby. There we go. The only one I can think of that really was better was the what was it? The wine one for Witcher 3. That was a whole game by itself. I can't think of what it was called off the top of my head now. Witcher. I'm googling this shit. It's gonna bother me. No, I can't find it. Blood and Wine. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, by all means. But if you haven't played the DLC for Witcher 3, if you haven't played Witcher 3 by itself, my God, you're missing out. But the DLC was really fucking good.
It's one of the games, like, I'm notorious for buying games and downloading games onto my console and not playing them. I had the entire game, DLC, everything all downloaded. Have not started it yet. It's a character flaw of mine. Owning games that I don't play.
I have a bunch of stuff on Steam the same way.
Yeah, I got to do better.
I'll put it like this: the Blood and Wine DLC. If you do all the side missions, it's a 28-hour game. That's DLC.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They did a wonderful job on it. That's content, baby.
That's content, yeah. 28 hours, that's at least 2 or 3 days worth of gameplay.
Yeah.
At least.
So
if you're like grinding it.
So I have one question to the both of you. Have you guys ever attempted any of the speed runs on any of the games? Like the world record?
No.
It's not for me.
I had to take my time and chill.
I would know ahead of time that I would not be able to get close. I wouldn't want to waste it. I somewhat watch. I'll watch, like, if I have friends I know that are trying to go for it, I'll watch them in support. But it doesn't intrigue me very much, honestly.
Yeah, I would get too distracted to be like, "Ooh, what's this? What's this?"
I'm a side mission master, or like I'll get distracted by something like GTA, Spider-Man, anything open world. Something will distract me, and like we'll be off mission for like an hour and a half, like and gotten nowhere. Speed runs would not happen for me.
I think the new Spider-Man open world was a pretty cool thing that they came out with.
Yeah, I'd swing for hours. Like I'd literally same thing. I'd get distracted and just. I find like the highest building I could climb to, see how many rotations I can get. Like just dumb stuff that gets you nothing. You've got nothing to show for it, but you did it and you enjoyed it.
You know what had some dope DLC? Because you don't get the same quality of DLC anymore. And I'm sorry, Juice. Maybe it's because I'm an old man now, but I've played all this DLC, but I don't think. It's not enough content. It's very short content too. It's content that could have definitely put in the OG game without problem. It's not like the Blood and Wine I mentioned where it's 28 hours long. Come on. But one that really was great was Dragon Ages.
Oh yeah.
Dragon Age had some fucking great DLC.
Yeah, it brought really good content too.
Oh yeah.
It was nice because it just expanded on the original, and then it had its own content. It was just nice. It was a nice piece to add to it.
The Elder Scrolls has always had pretty good DLC too, and Fallout. Objectively, those weren't amazing ones, but and Juice, of course. See, there we go, Juice. Elder Scrolls. We're there.
Juice is cultured. He's one of our people from Post Office Squad.
Fair enough.
He plays a lot, and when he believes. He sticks to his
and Juice, we've got some common ground. I'm actually going on my stream. I'm actually going through the Fallout New Vegas DLC. So we're finding some common ground. Okay, we're getting there.
Nero would also like to put in Tomb Raider DLC as well into that topic.
Oh, like one of the remasters or like the redo, like a reboot, I guess.
Yeah, in terms of good DLCs to play.
Oh, okay. I never played any of the new ones. Now I had played like on the original PlayStation, but never anything like on the newer gens. But
I have very little experience with Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
That's one of the
got a lot
franchises
of
I
games
don't
to
have a
try.
lot of experience with it. And truth be told, with Fallout New Vegas' DLC, I never got to play them. So I'm actually playing through the DLC right now for the first time, and I'm enjoying it. It's a little hit and miss, but I think with any game that has multiple DLC, not everyone's going to be a banger. Like the DLC for Skyrim was very inconsistent, I think. But
Yeah.
I last night when we rated my buddy, when you guys rated me and then I rated my buddy Rec Wizard, I was explaining to y'all before the show that he was doing a top tier list of video game franchises, and he put his and the thing what that was, it was S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and on down, and every person on there could pick one game that was God tier. That was their one choice, and he put Elder Scrolls. And I broke his heart when I said that I think Skyrim's overrated. And I said, and I had made a lot of people mad, but I gave my reasoning, and they saw what my logic was there, and that comes from someone that's incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to Elder Scrolls. I know a lot about the lore. I played all the games, but
Oh, that's awesome. Like I said, it's so cool, like, to see everyone's different takes on different games, and then see like their experiences with like the DLCs
well,
or different versions of games too.
it's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing because all this shit's subjective, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just video games. An example I gave during my podcast last night is I think the Star Wars sequel trilogy is fucking awful. I will sit there and give you a 40-point bulletin of all the plot holes in just one of the movies. However, I will not sit there and be like, your opinion's fucking stupid. Because like I said, it's fucking subjective. If something brings you joy, good. Will I sit there and have a discussion with you about why I don't think it's very good? Sure, but end of the day, if something makes someone happy, that's A-okay in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, great talk tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's any more questions or chat. Do you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask before we let these fine gentlemen have their rest of their night back?
Juice, are we about to get into it about Star Wars? Because I don't know if I can handle it.
I love Juiced. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here, Juiced. Juiced is like probably one of the nicest guys you will ever meet.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Also, one of the most opinionated guys you will ever meet.
He's just like
he
me.
sticks to his guns. Like, and that's one of the best things about him. Like, if he supports you 100%.
Oh, I bet. I
And
so much.
whatever he states, he means. So he can debate anything for hours, and it'll always be respectful. But I love him. He's a great kid. Shouldn't call him kid. He's grown now. He's married.
Yeah, I always think that's cool, like the banter back and forth, as long as it's respectful in terms of that, because you could
100%.
spend hours talking about stuff, which I think is so cool.
Well, and not only that, but you can legitimately learn stuff. Like, if there was something you thought was not good about a certain medium, or media rather, and someone makes you realize, like, hey, it's not as bad as you think because of this, you'd be like, okay, I hate it a little less, and that's dope.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because like I said, it's always good to get different perspective too, and like what you said, you guys, I mean, even just talking about the cheat codes, it just brings so much to light, and I feel
I'm sorry that someone didn't love you, X. No one shared those with you.
I never knew.
Dude, I only played with the cheat codes when I was a kid, and now, like, when they did the remasters, I was like, I'm not playing with cheat codes. I'm gonna just get good.
Oh man, there were so many hours trying to learn.
Dude, there's so much out there. I apologize you didn't get to experience that.
Okay, guys. So again, I want to thank you both for being on today. This has been a very fun topic we talked about. We got to know you a little bit more, Bargain Bin. We gotta talk about some good podcast stuff. We gotta talk about some good games, some anime stuff. By the way, if you are gonna look at anime stuff, Attack on
Yes.
Titan is another one.
That's one I've heard a lot,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it's a really good one. But yeah, so
I'm gonna be in Bargain Bin Gaming's chat on his next podcast and debate with
Saw
him.
that too.
Please do, please do. Juice, go follow me right now. Go follow me right now. I would love the debate. I will sit there and argue.
It's an extra viewer that will be there the whole time.
I will not
When he
mind
shows
at
up,
all.
he
I
stays for the whole
welcome
thing. Oh,
Yu
have
Hawk.
to show. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've heard that one too. I've heard that one
Yeah.
too. I need to actually sit down and like write all this shit down. Because like I said, so if you're just now joining, I mentioned earlier that I have no experience with the animes, and everyone's been giving me shit for it. So now that I have HBO Max and it has Crunchyroll, I'm going to actually make an attempt. Besides just Dragon Ball Z, which I'm probably going to end up watching first just to rewatch it.
If you need an anime guy, Jamie and Flame Gaming, and even Juice also. I always forget that Juice he's so cultured with everything. Like he'll debate with you, but like he'll go like, "Hey, check this out. You'll like this because this." Like the two of them are good at that. So those two, I would say, definitely hit them up.
Okay, fair enough. And
Just
before
wrap
we
it
go, one last thing real quick. If you guys haven't already, make sure to go follow me. I'm doing I think it's like an 8-hour stream this coming Friday for the release of Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. We're starting at 2 p.m. Central, going to 10 p.m. Central, and maybe later if my wife lets me, which probably not. But so what could be an 8-hour stream could end up being a 12-hour stream, but we're gonna be doing that. So thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
yeah,
It was
no,
a lot
of
of
course.
fun.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah, I'm
are
glad.
more than welcome, and back anytime.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, so
I appreciate you being here, and I'm glad that X put it together. This was you were the first person that I named as far as like
I appreciate
who I
it.
wanted to be able to sit down across from.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely glad we get that talk for sure.
All right, so with that, everyone, we're gonna end today's stream. Thank you very much, everyone in chat, for your guys' questions. Again, to our hosts and our guests, thank you guys very much for coming today. So we're gonna actually raid out. So if you guys could just stick around, we're gonna be joining in another streamer that's doing a podcast as well. So again, thank you guys very much. If you guys have questions or want to be in future casts, just send a message to Nira, and we'll get that.
Before you raid out, he just went offline.
Oh no!
I'm glad I caught that. Do you guys have anyone in mind?
Do you have someone, or BtheKing? Do you have anyone in mind that you would like to raid?
I mean, I can find someone super fast.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see what Bargain's got.
All right, so this guy is pretty similar to me, personality-wise, and I can send it to Niria again real super fast. His name is Mordecai. Drop a chat. Okay. Is this gonna?
Just drop the name, not the link.
Oh, Joy. That makes sense.
Sorry.
There. Man, Morty's a really cool person for sure.
Okay. All right, so that's gonna start heading over. So again, thank you guys very much for joining us today, and we look forward to having you guys in future casts. And BtheKing, thank you again for being such an amazing host.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
BarginBinGaming, thanks again for being such an awesome guest, dude. I've heard a lot about
for sure.
you, so it's really nice to actually get a chance to talk with you. And Chad, as always, thank you very much for being amazing, and we will see you guys soon. Take care.
All right, later, guys.